So I think there's a few things that make this program special. I think the most important one is the people. It's a community of people, a family, where everyone is focused on making each person the best physician they can be so they can succeed in any aspect of emergency medicine. Beyond that, we have a 45-year history of training every person to be an outstanding clinician so that they can thrive in any clinical environment. And then finally, our program is about developing leaders in emergency medicine, people who will leave a legacy of making an impact on their specialty and their communities.
So our residency program is essentially like one big family. We are a large residency. We have over 70 residents, but it feels small. We have a large number of faculty here that have different special interests. We train at 3 level 1 trauma centers, which is not usually heard of.
It'll be a challenging program. You're going to be pushed outside of your comfort zone because that's how you learn and grow. But as you're pushed outside of your comfort zone, you're going to be well supported by your co-residents and all the faculty. And I think the level of support that you get here is one of the things that makes this program special and will really help you to thrive.
Leaving Florida was definitely not an easy decision. My whole family's there. I grew up there. I have a lot of friends there, but I wanted a new experience, so that's why I moved to the Midwest. I wanted to stay around because the people are really great. And surprisingly, we have a really diverse population in Indianapolis, more than you would expect.
It is a big program, but I think that's really a benefit. What it means is that we have a lot of resources. We have a large faculty who will help you succeed in whatever you want to do. So regardless of your interest, whether that's simulation or EMS, critical care, ultrasound, global health advocacy, we have faculty here who are experts and who will share that passion with you. But we do a lot to really make it feel like a smaller program, starting with our orientation month, where you're going to get to know the program directors, the faculty, the other residents very, very well. We have a lot of events over the course of the orientation month to really get you integrated into the program. We have an outstanding mentorship program led by one of the national experts in emergency medicine mentoring, Julie Welch. You're going to find mentors here who will be your mentors not just for the next 3 years, but for the rest of your life.
The relationship between the residents and the faculty is very collegial. The faculty, they do a nice job of, teaching and being those leaders and those examples for the residents. But at the same time, we're on first name basis with the majority of our residents, and we do things outside of the residency with our residents. We'll have them over for dinner and things like that to get to know them on a deeper level outside of just the clinical setting. I think the clinical experience that you get here is probably second to none, given that we have 3 level 1 trauma centers that you staff, 2 general EDs, and a pediatric emergency department, all with very high volumes, very high acuity.
Training at a program with a county academic emergency department split highlights unique patient populations, unique chief complaints among those patient populations, unique workings respective to each hospital system. That is not a common thing, I think, among emergency medicine residencies.
As a resident, you will be rotating through primarily 3 different hospitals. One of them is our county hospital, Eskenazi Hospital, which is actually a beautiful hospital. If you picked them out just by looking at them, you wouldn't know that was our county hospital. And that's where we just see a lot of our inner city, underprivileged, underserved populations. You get a lot of acuity there because they come when they're kind of at the extreme of their disease. And you also see a lot of trauma because of that. So we have a lot of both penetrating and blunt trauma, so your gunshot wounds and your stabs, as well as like high-speed car accidents and things like that. When you move over to Methodist Hospital, which is also a level 1 trauma center, it's a little bit different. It's an interesting hybrid of like academic and community. We have some services that are staffed by residents, and that kind of functions more like the academic side of things, and then others that are faculty, the attendings, and their mid-levels, like their PAs and their NPs. And because of that, that's awesome because you get to do a lot more procedures. But we also get things flown in from all over the state there. That's where we have the highest number of specialties. So you'll see super rare diseases and disease processes and learn how to take care of things like that as well. And then the third hospital is Riley. That's our children's hospital, the only level 1 peds hospital in the state. And it's very similar to Methodist in that they get everything flown in from everywhere. So you see a lot of very rare childhood diseases, congenital disorders, things like that you're not going to see in other places. So they work nicely together because they each have their own niche and they just round out the clinical education.
I challenge you to find any other program in the country that has 3 level 1 trauma centers within 2 miles of each other with the diversity of pathology that we see.
I think the training here is second to none. The fact that there's 2 level 1 trauma centers just a few miles down the road from each other is really incredible, and I feel like every day I go to work, it's always a surprise what I'm gonna see. But the clinical training that I've had only in just 1 year has made me feel prepared and very excited for the rest of my clinical training here, and it makes me feel that at the end of my time at IUEM that I'll be able to go into any type of emergency medicine practice, whether it's academic or community, and feel well prepared that I would be able to take care of whatever walks through the door.
I think that the clinical training that I'm getting is top-notch and like some of the best in the world. The cost of living here is great, so the move wasn't too crazy. And then some of the residents and the faculty here are just really friendly and some of the nicest people that I've had the chance to meet and work with in my career.
I feel like the clinical training here is definitely going to be preparing me to go into any career that I want. We're given just so much autonomy. We are given the resources and tools to explore our own personal interests. They make sure we're doing everything safely, but nothing is ever taken away from us. We're always given the first opportunity to do something, to come up with a plan. I'm pushed every day on shift, sometimes to where it's uncomfortable, but I think that's how you learn and how you get better.
We have a lot of different tracks at IU. They give you the ability to really make your residency what you want it to be. You get a little bit of exposure just in the general curriculum. With EMS, you have to do some ride-alongs. With critical care, we have 3 ICU rotations during our first year, 2 during our second year, and 1 during our third year.
Everyone's like, oh, we love IU residents. We know they work hard, they're smart, they can move the department, and if we have critically ill patients, they can care for them without missing a beat. So we are very valued across the country.
As a resident, you'll be staffing one-on-one in the emergency departments with our faculty. The IU School of Medicine Emergency Medicine faculty comes from all over the country. You'll be training with people who have done subspecialty work in emergency medical services, in toxicology, in the ICU, in pediatric emergency medicine, in ultrasound. These are all fellowships that we offer here, and you'll be staffing as a resident.
I feel IU program is the best EM program, not only because of the training, how much critical care exposure we get, but also the people here, the culture here, all just is, you can't ask for more. I mean, it's the best.
I think in general, our off-service rotations give us a better baseline so that we know how to anticipate what our consultants might need, and then we can take better care of those patients in the emergency department. Overall, I felt really welcomed as an off-service resident on any of those rotations. I felt like I was there to learn how to take care of those consultants' patients better, and that they appreciated my willingness to be there and to learn that, which I think will benefit my patients and their care in the future.
One of the things that we do as soon as you come here is we try and set up a support system to help you to thrive. So we draw people from all corners of the country. We have people with a diversity of experiences. We have people who have families, people who are single, and they all come here and really become part of the program and part of the family. It's a very cohesive program because we're very intentional about the way that we integrate you into the program, starting with your assigned a faculty and a resident mentor before you even get here in Indianapolis to help you really get to know the city and the program. And then we have a very robust orientation month with a lot of activities where you'll get to know the program directors really well, your co-residents, faculty. You're really going to become integrated into the program in all aspects of the community here.
From a resident perspective, I think we do develop a sense of camaraderie enough that it's kind of like our support system there. As a person and not like a physician or a resident, and as a gay man, that was really important for me to know that coming here I was going to be both safe and find a support system here. I think it was a little bit easier for me because I live 3 blocks from or not even 3 blocks, I think it's 1.5 blocks from the gay district here. And so meeting friends that I have things in common with wasn't very difficult at all. Everybody at the going out, it's easy to just see people on the streets and say hello.
Coming from a different state, it was, a little bit nerve-wracking, somewhere that I'm used to being, but when I came here, I felt that I kind of found my group and fit in really smoothly, and I've been happy ever since.
Disaster Day occurs early on during intern orientation, and it's hosted at Muscatatuck Urban Training Center. Through a partnership we have with the Indiana National Guard, it's essentially a mock city with a complete subway system, old hospital, movie theaters, buildings. It's used quite extensively by the military, special operations forces, other government agencies, and IUEM residents to look at simulated scenarios in a high-fidelity environment that are based on real-world occurrences, from how to manage mass casualty incidents, to how to effectively triage patients, to the challenges that our colleagues in EMS face in the field that we may not necessarily see in the emergency department, and how hard it is to arrive to a potentially chaotic or dangerous scene and get patients safely transported to the hospital. And so it's a good combination of exposure, of practical skills, of leadership and organizational skills, and it's a whole lot of fun to kind of start residency off.
There's a lot to be gained from EMS Day. You know, we work so closely with EMS personnel, but until you go out and you see the equipment that they're dealing with and think about kind of the situations they have to put themselves in, you don't have enough of an appreciation for what our EMS personnel have to go through day in and day out.
We got to play with all of the big power tools and smash cars, and you just get to go work with EMS and the firefighters, see things from their point of view and like the things they have to do to get patients out of smashed up vehicles. Opened my eyes to that side of things. But
it allows our residents and people that work in the emergency department to understand what our first responders do in order to get our patients to the emergency department. This is what the whole point of our program is to show that we doctors don't work in isolation. We work with the fire service, EMS, our nurses, the respiratory tech. Like, it's all about a healthcare team, and this shows from start to finish what it's going to look like.
Our training here is second to none. We are able to go out and work wherever we want after residency. If you want to be pushed, and I mean be uncomfortable to grow, this is the place to go. This is a fast-paced ER. We see lots of patients. You get lots of clinical experience, but you will be pushed till you're uncomfortable, and I feel like that is how we will grow into be the best emergency medicine physicians that we can be, and that will teach you to work anywhere in the world.
I think our simulation program is great. I get almost as uncomfortable in the simulation labs as I do with real patients, so it really mimics that stress. And so then you practice the skill, and when it comes into the emergency department or you're facing it in the ICU or wherever it is, I think you're more prepared. And I think the practice that we get in the sim lab really benefits us as providers and benefits our patients.
The quality of training here at Indiana University is top-notch. The program is rigorous and pushes you to work really hard, but I think at the end of the day, that's kind of all what we want from residency programs. We all are trying to be the best physicians that we can be, and IUEM certainly helps you find your limits and push past them to become everything that you're trying to be as a physician.
So we draw people from all over the country, and I think that everyone who comes here, no matter where they come from, they find that Indianapolis is really a great city. So, it's a city that has a lot to do. It hosts a lot of events. It has one of the best up-and-coming food scenes in the country, a lot of great outdoor areas and outdoor activities, amazing museums and concert venues. It's one of the best sports cities in the country, I think. So it has all this exciting stuff to do, but at the same time, it's a very livable city. It's very affordable. So it's really a great place for a young professional to come and live.
One of the coolest things about our program is that it is in Indiana, and Indianapolis is a really awesome city. I think a lot of people hear Indianapolis and don't know much about it, but truly it's like a hidden gem. There's so many things to do outdoors, especially during the summer, and Indianapolis itself has been growing exponentially since I've even moved here a year ago.
Truthfully, we didn't have any family over here, but we knew this program was great. It has one of the best critical care experiences, something I was interested in. So I wanted to go ahead and take a trip over here. When we came over, we actually visited before I did my rank list, and we loved it. They had live music, downtown was fun, went to the Circle, and it was honestly just a really fun time, and we saw ourselves enjoying this. Kind of reminded us a little bit of New Orleans. So one of the things I really love is that I'm downtown, I live downtown, but only 15 minutes away. We have one of the state parks, and we'll go over to Eagle Creek, bring our dog out there, go run some of the trails, and then I don't have to drive an hour away. I can just have a good time there and come back 15 minutes later.
I have a family, wife, 2 kids. I live actually in one of the suburbs of Indianapolis, and the area here has been really enjoyable to live in, especially for the kids. The cost of living is low, and I actually got an incredible value on my house when I came here, and that was a big deal to us to be able to get a good space for the kids. We live in a great school district, and they're benefiting from that as well. One place that we really love to take the kids is the Indianapolis Children's Museum, as well as the zoo. We have memberships to both, and the kids absolutely adore going there, and they're fantastic. And there's certainly plenty to do both in the suburbs and downtown.
I live downtown, so it's pretty easily accessible to just about any kind of like nightlife or food venue that I am excited to go explore. I like how close it is to the hospitals as well. It's about a 10-minute drive from where I live, and so it's easy to get it like from home to work and everything like that.
I would tell anyone to come here that really wants to make the program their own, that wants to be in charge of their patients, wants to be given kind of the full autonomy to run the department. It's amazing what we get to do and how much our faculty trust us and how much they're willing to teach us and push you, but always be there for you. And just the experience that you get here is just unmatched.
I think that coming to the program here has probably been the best thing that's happened to me in my professional career. The training here is absolutely outstanding. It really checks all the boxes. It really is the full package.
We're looking for people who want to make a difference. One of the hallmarks of our training is that we will train you to work in solo independent practice if that's what you choose, because that's the hardest venue to work. We're looking for people who are go-getters, energetic, creative, and we invite you to come be a part of our IU EM family.